All right. What's up, everybody? We are back here again. Week number 6 of Backyard Bookies. We finished our first month of the season. I suck. I lost, and I had to do out a little bit of a punishment. We recorded us spinning the wheel earlier in the week. I did the punishment, so you great people will get to enjoy that right now. I got ice in here. Shit. That sucked, but not too bad. All right, I'm coming for you in October, Scott. You're next. Okay, Scott, I know you haven't seen it yet, so hopefully you watch tomorrow when I cut that bad boy in. But let's just dive into it. It's a new month. We're starting off fresh. Scores are 0-0 for the month. We still have the season totals, keeping tabs up for the ultimate pain. But let's get it started. What's your first bet kicking off October?
Yeah, just first thing, I really hope that that tub was nice and cold for you.
It was.
Hoping to dish out that punishment again this month. Had some other pretty good options on the board too, so hopefully you can stretch into those as well. But yeah, back to 0-0. So for my first pick, as I do college football, this is going to be the number one game in every morning around this week. Week 5, week 6 around. Biggest game of the week. Texas, Oklahoma, Texas State Fair. I kind of have like a little tradition with this pick. Well, currently there's a few stats I can throw out here. I think Texas, I believe, is 8-3-1 against the spread in the last 12 games. So they've been covering. Last year it was like 49-0, but if you watch the game, Dylan Gabriel did not play, and they had some big-time struggles at quarterback. I'm not sure who the guy's name was, but he was piss poor.
And Texas was a dog most of those covers, I would assume. They've been a dog for a good part of that decade against the Sooners team. Last year was probably the first year they were favorite in a long time.
Yeah. But for my normal tradition, you can ask our buddy Cameron. I typically love the over in this game. Right now it's 60.5, and that's just, man, for these two offenses, that's just not enough points. Both can score quickly. Normally this game's like in the 70s, I want to say, and it usually covers. It's come down quite a bit in the last few years, but it was 79.5, 77.5, 74.5, and then the last 2 years it's been 65.5, which would have covered if they had Oklahoma had a quarterback, but they didn't. And then 65 the year before that, and it was 55-48 was the final score of that game. So over 100 points in 2 years ago. Would have been probably over 70 last year. So I love the over. It's kind of my normal tradition. I actually already bet it on DraftKings. And I also took the money line Texas. That had a great boost, so I had no choice but to bet it. But for this podcast, I'm going to go over 60.5 Oklahoma, Texas.
This is a weird game every year for those that don't watch. Something bizarre always happens, like crazy missed tackles, defensive touchdowns, kickoff returns, punts. They score in unique ways, which is great for an over. I would only be a little concerned about the Texas's front four shutting down the Oklahoma run game, which OU's kind of leaned on a bit, but this game's always bonkers. Score points all day. You ain't seeing it. This is not LSU, Alabama, 6-3. This is 55-45, like you said, with that. For me, I'm going to go over into the SEC, and I'm going to stick with the tradition. LSU at Missouri. We got two ranked teams. LSU coming off of a bad loss against Ole Miss. Now, people will say, Peter, Ole Miss ranked team. Ole Miss is kind of trash. Not going to lie. They're not great. Not a great team. They got bullied by Alabama. They struggled with Tulane a little bit. This LSU defense is ass. They're horrible. Brian Kelly, you're wasting a Heisman potential season from your quarterback because your defense might be the worst in Power 5. I don't know. They can't stop a nosebleed. Missouri, on the other hand, they're playing pretty solid ball. I know they kicked a 61-yarder to escape with a win a few weeks ago, but that was a few weeks ago. Since then, taking care of business. Ran out Vandy, took care of Memphis. K-State was a nice win. So it's at 65 right now. I got it at 64.5. I love the over in this game. I mean, LSU's defense isn't stopping Missouri. Missouri's offense is okay. It's not bad. It's not dysfunctional. Solid. I think they're let's go. Missouri offense is 15th in passing, and LSU's pass defense is like 110th. I knew they were in bottom of, we're talking Nevada level bad of deep passing defense. And then LSU on the flip side, very good passing offense. We know what Daniels has been doing. And Missouri's defense, 89th in passing. So I'm expecting a ton of passing yards, a ton of points in this game. If I had to bet this game, I kind of like Missouri Tigers, not LSU Tigers in this one. Getting 4.5 at home. Ranked teams and rank-to-rank matchups are pretty good as home dogs. So two ranked teams, not much separating them, and you're a home dog, usually very good. But I'm just going to take the over here at 64.5, 65. I don't know if that's a number. Do some math here, maybe, but that just is push instead of getting that W. So yes, over 64.5, LSU and Missouri.
Yeah, if you're going historical here, it's been in 2020 they played over 53. They won. It was a 45-41 game, so that's 80 plus. And then Missouri's over in the last 3, and LSU's over every single game this year. So a lot of overs trending here. Missouri kind of a under the radar team. They haven't really played anybody yet, really.
Kansas State was their big win.
Was their best win so far, but yeah, I mean, LSU can score. That's for sure. So if Missouri can put up some good points,
I'm not worried about LSU's offense. That's for sure.
Yeah, they can each put up 5 touchdowns each and cover that for sure. But it really just all depends. Is Missouri a real team? And we don't know. They've played nobody.
Maybe we get a bounce back from LSU and they hang a 50 burger here, and I just need 20 from Missouri, which a 50-20 game is super doable with that defense.
Exactly. Well, for my second pick, we go from tradition to back to the brand. We're going to the Big Ten, as we do.
Big Ten.
Purdue and Iowa is playing a big game in Iowa City this week. I think if you've watched this program where I'm headed. Head to head, last 4 times it's been under. Iowa has weirdly been over twice already this year, but they beat a Western Michigan team 41-10, because I guess was it Kirk Ferentz or whoever not Kirk Ferentz, just whoever their head coach has that little bylaw in his contract that he has to score average 25 points a game or something. So to get some raise or something like that. So he's been trying to score points, but his team still stinks and can't score points. Purdue's been over in the last 2, but under in the 2 before that. So it's still a Big Ten matchup. It's still going to be a point struggle. I don't care what way you put it. 39 is the over-under. That's it's a little scary, but typically the last few times we bet this under 40 number for the Big Ten, it's come through. So hopefully like a 17-14 game, 24-10, something like that. Iowa's the favorite, 2.5. They can't score, so that's going to be interesting. I'd probably take Purdue money line if I was a betting man.
I'm the other way. This was an honorable mention. I love the Hawkeyes laying 2.5. McNamara is out for the season. The backup quarterback can't be any worse than McNamara's been the last few weeks at 40% or 50%, whatever he's been. He's been horrid. So I think they might see a slight upgrade at quarterback play. And Purdue sucks. Purdue's bad. But I don't hate an under here. I don't hate an under whatsoever. Because Purdue's not going to score.
McNamara's also a Michigan quarterback, and it doesn't matter what I don't know. Just once you switch over to Iowa, for some reason you forget how to score points. That's just a thing for them. So you could be right. Obviously, they could have some spark with the new quarterback,
Three
but
nothing. They win this game 3-0, baby. Iowa all day.
3-0 would be great. That'd be 6-0. I'd even go 3-2 would be totally fine for me. But 39, I'll take the under. We're just going on brand here because I think I just for some reason I'm falling in love with these under 40 Big Ten games.
I like it. Like I said, it's on brand. I like Iowa in this game if we're gonna take somebody. I like them a lot, but yeah, under Big Ten. Purdue can't score on this Iowa defense. The Iowa defense is still pretty good. All right, we're going off the map. It's a new month. I need fresh blood interjected into me. I may have just talked shit about this team, but Arkansas Ole Miss. I'm going off the walls here. We're going to do a team total. Ole Miss, team total, 37.5 for the game. I love this number. Arkansas is trash on defense. They gave up 38, 34, and 34 the last 3 games. 34 to an A&M team with a backup quarterback. 38 to BYU. BYU doesn't score points. They've been kind of mid as hell this season. Now, they did a decent job against LSU, but LSU played terrible in that game, and they still scored 34 points 2 weeks ago. Ole Miss, on the other hand, Jackson Dart may have found some confidence. They're not going to get bullied around. They're not going to get pushed around like they did against Bama. This Arkansas front is soft. It's not a good front. Ole Miss is going to run this bad boy up, I think. It's a 6 o'clock kick. I don't have to worry about the quick early game hangover turnarounds. I know it was a big win for them in Oxford against LSU. Lane Kiffin's not going to pull his foot off the gas, though. That's just not his move. He likes to embarrass his opponents. So I like Ole Miss here. I think what's their totals? Besides the Bama game, they've scored points. I think they only scored 7 against Bama. Let's see. Yeah, 55 last week, 10 against Bama, but then 48 against a Georgia Tech team who's kind of all over the place. 37 against Tulane, and they played really bad against Tulane. So 37.5 here for Ole Miss. Team total for the game. I am going with them.
Yeah, if you're an A&M fan, you definitely watched Arkansas last week. I mean, it just wasn't very good. The defense could not contain at all. Ole Miss, I watched a little bit of the LSU game. We watched a little bit at the end, but man, putting up over 100 points against LSU. You talked about LSU and their defense not very good, but yeah, I like this. I like this pick. Jackson Dart, old Salt Lake City BYU boy. So just what I'm comfortable with. So, so yeah, I love the pick.
Super on brand.
Exactly. For which one did I have here? For my third pick, that's what it was. Okay. I don't have I'm using my iPad for video today, so I'm a little bit behind. Usually I'm using that for my picks, but for my third pick, this one was kind of like the one. This is the same team that I had in one of the episodes a few weeks ago where I said this is a risky one. I don't know if I want to do it, and I went against them and ended up winning. It was the Boston College Virginia Tech game. I'm going with Virginia Tech this week, 24 points. So that's also very scary. They're playing a Virginia Tech team. So it's Florida State, Virginia Tech. Going with Florida State. Virginia Tech has 69% on their side. We're talking 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's a lot. But Florida State coming off a bye at home against a team who lost to Marshall. They lost to Rutgers, and they've lost to Purdue.
Virginia Tech is bad.
Not great. I guess all 3 of those they were also underdogs in those games too against 3 teams you just don't see favorites, especially against Virginia Tech. So head to head, there's not really anything. 5 years ago they played. Virginia Tech won. It's a long time ago. So there's nothing really to go off there except for me the public going hard on Virginia Tech, almost 70%. It just, I think Florida State will come out pretty hot coming off a bye. They want to make a college football playoff too. They're up there. They're top 8. I think it's 5 or 6. What are they? Yeah, they're 5. So yeah, they want to make one too, and they want to get in that top 4. So they want to make a statement. A lot of upsets probably coming in the next few weeks. So they want to make that statement and make sure they get in that top 4. So I like Florida State minus 24, big number, but at home. Not a very good team they're playing. So we'll see if my gamble with a Florida State game pays off again.
Yeah, I just don't know. Florida State, what do you think about them? They played awful against Boston College. Your LSU win is your big win, but it doesn't look like that good of a win anymore. I shouldn't say as good of a win anymore, but they did beat Clemson. They got to keep pumping away if they want to get into the playoff. Um, and the ACC just got a lot better. You know, North Carolina just got their wide receiver back today, so thank God the NCAA aren't a bunch of losers and they gave him the transfer. So North Carolina's now a threat. Miami, I still think everyone's sleeping on the Hurricanes. That might be the best team in the conference. Not biased whatsoever. So it's a gamble. I don't like big. I'm not touching. I don't like big lines this late into the season because everyone's just kind of, I don't know, in the flow. But Virginia Tech is awful. They're awful. They're bad at football. So I'm not going to worry about that too much for you. Let's go over to the NFL for me here. This is an interesting game. I had a couple of games that were kind of sneaky, interesting. Like Baltimore-Pittsburgh was a weak game. I kind of like Pittsburgh, like that. Them, the underdogs always seem to cover. But here's another one. Philly at LA. This is a big matchup. The Eagles have not looked good this season. They've kind of struggled. They're decent running the football. The defense is solid, but it does get beat sometimes. They've given up some passing yards to some people. They struggled with Washington again last week. They beat them in overtime, though. Got to take away the moniker Riverboat Ron, no more. You got to go for 2 to win that game, Ron. What are you doing there? But I've liked what I've seen out of this LA team. I think the loss to the Bengals was kind of like, what? Like, they should not have lost that game. The Bengals are awful. They've had a weird travel schedule, and that showed in the fourth quarter against Indianapolis to lead that big comeback for them. But they got the win. I like this Rams team a lot. The defense is fine. The offense is playing awesome. Puka Nacua is a stud here. They're getting 4.5 points at home. I think that's just too many points at home for this Rams team. Eagles kind of malaising around. They have one good performance against Tampa Bay on the road, but Tampa Bay's not good when people start to believe in them. People started to believe in them. Baker's terrible. We doubt him. Baker's great again. So I don't like that, but beat Minnesota by 6, beat New England by 5. That's not a very good win. Patriots are awful, and they've been dominated in the stats 3 of their games. 3 of their 4 games, they've been dominated in the stat book. So I'm getting over a field goal here. I like this. So I'm going to take the Rams plus 4.5. Matt Stafford should be okay. They're 3-0-1 against the spread this season. And maybe Cooper Kupp plays. We don't know. The window opened. I doubt he plays this weekend, but even if he doesn't, who's covering Puka Nacua? You going to put Slay on him? Okay. Try and run with him. He's an old man. He ain't running across the field with that young guy. So I like the Rams here.
Yeah, I mean, I like to pick 2. Obviously, the Eagles are probably the better team, but you're getting a pretty good number. Are the Rams are at home as well, right?
Yeah, it's in LA.
That's even more. So getting a field goal and a half.
Cross country. Cross country.
At home, across the country. I like the pick. Rams are a little better than we think. I think we think they are. Like you said, they're covering spreads.
The public thinks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Puka Nacua is a fun guy to watch. He's just one of those Cooper Kupp 2.0 kind of guys who catches everything and gets open. So he's fun to watch. I can see why Matt Stafford has gained trust with him as well. When he gets both of them back, that could be an interesting watch. He trusts both of them a lot. So if he gets Cooper Kupp back as well, that's 2 big weapons. And I like getting 4.5 points is nice to have in your pocket as well. Did you want to do money line or
give us the prop?
We'll do the prop. All right, we'll do prop. So I'm also going to the NFL here. It's usually where I've been going with my prop. So like I said a few weeks ago, I picked a Miami Dolphins game that ended up having 90 points in it and picked an under. That's on me. I'm going back to the Miami Dolphins this week. Also with an under. Very scary. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Giants are playing the Dolphins at home. I'm seeing a lot of running. I'm seeing a lot of Mostert. I'm seeing a lot of A-Chain. I'm seeing a lot of Tyreek Hill. I haven't been seeing much Jalen Waddle. Just a little bit, kind of sprinkling him in there every now and again. He's one of those weapons. He's one of those weapons who he's kind of getting overlooked a little bit because there's just so many speed guys on that team right now. A-Chain, we watched him plenty in college. We know how fast he is. He's no surprise to us. He's a world-class sprinter. So lots of speed on that offense. I'm getting Jalen Waddle at 62.5 receiving yards. Tyreek Hill's at 88.5. And I believe, let's see what we got here. Devon A-Chain is looking 50.5 rushing yards. That's probably a lock. He's going to probably do that in one run. But I'm going to take Jalen Waddle under 62.5 yards receiving. I just think he's getting a little overlooked. Obviously, they're playing the Giants, which, yeah, they're probably the second worst team in the league. Maybe the worst.
They're not worse than the Bears. Nobody's worse than the Bears, okay?
I think the Bears are winning right now, aren't they?
Yeah, but that was an easy play. Teams in overtime on Thursday playing are like off. They're like 2-22. Like the Commanders, Redskins football team had no chance, and Dick Butkus died before the game. Like they're gonna play out for. I mean, they're gonna show out. This was a pickable spot for the Bears, but they're bad. Don't forget the Panthers. Panthers also awful.
Yeah, they're
but
pretty bad too.
We can bash the Giants. They suck ass.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. Daniel Jones looking tough. Offensive line looking tough. My only problem is the Dolphins might have the ball too much and start dishing the ball around to everybody. So
Saquon's back, so maybe he'll just chew some clock. Chew some clock for you, baby.
That'll help me. So, I got Mostert, A-Chain, Hill. I'm thinking the number 4 guy right now, weirdly, is Jalen Waddle. I'm taking the under 62.5.
I like it. I think he is overlooked in this offense. Now, maybe they want to feed him a little bit more. He missed 2 games with the concussion. But Tyreek needs to be fed also. They had a tough week last week against Buffalo. So maybe a lot of Tyreek, maybe a lot of Mostert. Mostert's not even getting the love. And A-Chan, maybe you rest him a little bit. He's been great, but maybe you don't. Who knows? You want to keep that back fresh for the playoffs. But I like that under. I'm staying in the NFL. These boys are maybe the surprise to everybody, not necessarily me. I love this team coming into this season. I thought it would be a little bit later that we saw what we're seeing. Houston Texans, baby. They're lighting it up right now, 2-2, 2 huge wins. They're going to Atlanta, and, Atlanta's coming off a bad loss against Jacksonville in London, and this Atlanta team, you got to be furious. They have the worst quarterback in the league. Desmond Ridder is ass. I know he's great in home. He's undefeated. He's 0-8 in first half line, so he struggles, but they do win games in the end. Bijan Robinson may be the best back in the league right now, and you're not 3-1 or 4-0 because your quarterback's been that bad. CJ Stroud, though, averaging 303 yards a game, most in NFL history. He's breaking like every rookie record. He's for real deal. He said, F it, I can just play. Who needs a test? 246.5 passing yards. I like the over here. Teams coming back, no bye after London. There's been 9 teams to do it. The opposing team's total has hit the over 7 out of the 9 times. So the defenses are fatigued. They get worn out. They give up a lot of points. And 2 good legit receivers, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, lighting it up. I like CJ here. The only game he hasn't thrown over 246 this season was week 1 at Baltimore, his first career start in bad weather. So indoors in Atlanta. Maybe the Texans lose this game, but I think they throw, 250, 260. The Falcons could ball out. Only thing that would concern me is if they can just sit on the rock, like literally take the ball away, and we're talking 2 possessions per quarter for the for the Texans. But other than that, I'm loving CJ Stroud. I'm buying CJ Stroud stock. So let's just keep tripling down on like a super hot team with a super hot rah-rah head coach. Like, they're going to keep feeding into the momentum. So CJ Stroud over 246.5 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens because he's playing you in fantasy this week.
Look at you. You're that desperate.
And I got Nico Collins starting. So hopefully they both show up.
DJ Moore just put up another one against you, so have fun.
God damn it. Well, and I also have Houston money line.
That's a good – I like that bet, too.
When I was in Denver, I took that bet, too. So I really love this pick. Houston is very, very under the radar, weirdly. Weirdly good. Could be good. If they get 8 or 9 wins, they very well could potentially get that. CJ Stroud's looking good.
They could win that division. The division's not great.
The division
is not great.
Easily. So yeah, it's a fun team to watch. A lot of rookies. They're quick too. So yeah, I like the pick, and hopefully it all comes through, and I can come back in fantasy against you.
Yeah, not likely. All right, let's wrap it up. I know you wanted to, you move this thing along. Let's get your money line pick. Give us your upset of the week.
Well, I'll just run through my honorable mentions real quick.
Honorable mentions, all right.
I did take Kentucky plus 480. In Denver, I
Against
took
Georgia.
that money line as well. 15 bones on that real quick just to see if it would happen. That was going to be my dog pick. Since I took it in real life, I'm going to go against it.
Don't need a double hedge. Don't need a double down.
Don't need a double hedge. I have Tech plus 1 at Baylor. Could be an interesting pick. Baylor's not very good, but Tech also doesn't have Shuck as their quarterback. He's hurt, so could be interesting. Fresno State minus 5.5 at Wyoming. Fresno State's weirdly good this year as well, but also they're playing in Wyoming. We've talked about how difficult it is to play there, but I can see them at least covering a touchdown. This one's also a little scary. Minnesota plus 19.5 versus Michigan. Michigan's looking really good. They shut out who they shut out last week. It was Iowa, wasn't it?
Iowa? No, I know Penn State shut out Iowa. I thought. Was
no,
it Iowa last week?
They played somebody really bad.
Michigan might be the best team in the country.
And then, like I said, I took Houston money line, but I also had Houston plus 2.5 on here at Atlanta. But yeah, so for my dog pick, instead of going Kentucky, I went not a very glamorous pick, but I went Louisiana Monroe. Went down from 350 to 290 in the last few days, so I'll take the 290. I'll wear that against our boys at USA. Let me pull this up real quick. I was looking at the other games. I believe USA had a bad loss a few weeks ago, or maybe last week. I forgot who it was. I'm trying to fucking scroll down here. Here we go. Yeah, so it's minus 10. USA is minus 10 right now, South Alabama. 72% of the public are on Louisiana Monroe. Yeah, they lost to James Madison. They lost to Central Michigan back-to-back weeks.
I don't think James Madison's that bad of a loss. I think James Madison's okay.
Yeah, they're actually decent. They were 1.5-point dogs actually against James Madison and lost. So decent score there. App State, they played Monroe, 1-point game. So I don't know. Monroe's looking okay. Obviously, they played A&M. Not a very good outing for them in that game. But I don't know. I think I just like the number. I liked it a lot more when it was at plus 350, but it's come down a little bit. Don't like it as much at 290, but we've already committed to it. I've already, I was thinking about taking Kentucky, but that's a big upset. So I like, So I'm going Monroe plus like 290 for South Alabama.
It's not sexy. It's gritty. And those tend to be the ones that pay out sometimes. So I'm okay with this. I had honorable mentions here. Lafayette, I think it's like 2.5 against Texas State. I think they're going to blow out Texas State this weekend. The hype train on Texas State's a little too strong for that. I've listed some other ones here. But for my upset, I'm going sexy. I'm doubling down. This team, I think, slightly overrated. They're not playing a backup quarterback this week. They've played a backup quarterback 14 times this season. I know it's only been 5 games. They've played 14 backup quarterbacks. I've been on this team from day one of the season, and I'm not gonna fade them now. Give me the Sooners plus 200. They're getting 6.5. I like them to cover this game. It's a payback game. Teams coming back on redemption, neutral site field, dominant. I'm talking dominant. They are kicking ass. So neutral site field across all college football, top 25 matchups in a redemption spot. We see that redemption here. I think Dylan Gabriel's the game changer here. They're actually going to face a real quarterback. Texas hasn't faced a quarterback all season. Milroe was shit when they played him, and Alabama didn't know, we have to run the ball with our running quarterback and not try and run the spread Lane Kiffin offense or whatever. So they get out of Daniels last week against Kansas. That's a game that was 3 points in the third quarter, and Kansas missed a 4th down that, Bean threw the ball on them, and Bean's, kind of super mid. So I'm with the Sooners here. I think this is an ugly game. I think the defense turns over Ewers a few times. Ewers, they talk about how he's calm, cool, and collected now. The Sooners are going to blitz. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to try and make him uncomfortable, and I can see Ewers making a couple of bad mistakes because the hype train's a little too high for Texas right now. I think they're very vulnerable in this spot. I can't go against my Sooners now. I've been on them all season. This is a good squad. So give me Oklahoma in the Red River shootout, not no rivalry game. It's a shootout, and I like the Sooners here plus 200.
Yeah, this is a statement game. This is the last game in the Big 12 for them. So this is kind of a statement game, getting out of the Big 12, going to the SEC. I took Texas money line, so I'm not with you on that, but I'm not with you on a lot of things.
A money line laying 6.5 is not super confident, Scott.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a good number, so I had a little boost on DraftKings. I had to take it, but I don't know. Rivalry games always going to be close. We've gone over that as well. This game typically is high scoring, very close, back to back to back to back. Scoring. Last year was an anomaly. I don't even consider that a football game. So, yeah, I mean, could go either way. Both teams are vying for a college football playoff spot. Both teams going to the SEC next year. Texas State Fair. It's always fun to go. So a little fried butter for the boys before the game. Maybe will be the spark for them. So who knows? But yeah, I took Texas. So we guess we'll just see on Saturday
if you're
who's
less confident
correct.
in the upset. I think 6.5 is too big of a number for these two teams. I mean, maybe it's a late touchdown, but more likely it's a late field goal or a team gets a stop in that 4-3 range. So 6.5 is a huge number for Oklahoma. But let's run it down and wrap up this one.
Yep. So back to that game, I have Texas Oklahoma over 60.5. Purdue Iowa under 39. Florida State minus 24 against Virginia Tech. Jalen Waddle under 62.5 yards receiving. And then for my dog, Louisiana Monroe plus 290 against South Alabama.
All right, sweet. I got LSU Missouri over 64.5. Go Tigers. Not saying which Tigers. We got Ole Miss team total 35 or 37.5 against Arkansas. We got the Rams plus 4.5 against the Eagles at home. I got Stroud as my prop over 246.5 passing yards. And for my upset of the week, we got the Boomers Sooners at plus 200 against the Longhorns. All right, Scott, I'm feeling good. Fresh week, ready to go. Fresh month, starting off good. But yeah, remember, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that thumbs up, that like button. You got to beat the YouTube algorithm. Really helps out the video when you click that thumbs up. And yeah, share this video with your friends. Hopefully you can make some money. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. And we'll see you guys next week.